Hello, guys. I am really glad to welcome you again. And as I mentioned to you, that our subject is entrepreneurship and business planning. Today is the lecture number 2, the innovative activity as the basis of the entrepreneurship. The plan of our lecture consists of 2 questions: the definition of the innovative activity and types of entrepreneurship. The lecture structure is innovation in historical contexts, then innovation like basis definitions, approaches and classifications, and the legal and regulatory framework. So the innovations, as we see on this picture, is neatly connected with science, researchers, novelty, nanotechnology, development, invention, discovery, and of course, breakthrough. This is one of the main components of our innovations. Successful innovation is not an achievement of intelligence, but of will. The Joseph Schumpeter, this is his citation, one of the most popular his citations. He was the economist, he is an economist, a political scientist, sociologist, historian of economic thought. One of the priority goals of most countries in the world is to ensure long-term economic growth. This refers to the production of more and better quality goods and services, and as a consequence, a higher standard of living of the population. Economic growth is the result of successful activities of enterprises in all sectors of the national economy and depends to a large extent on the innovative activities of enterprises. What does it mean, innovation activity? This is a process aimed at implementing the results of completed research and development or other scientific and technical achievements in a new or improved product sold on the market, in a new or improved technical processes used in practice, as well as additional research related to this and development. The innovation policy of enterprises should be aimed at increasing the production of fundamentally new types of products and technologies, expanding the sale of domestic goods. In connection with innovation, 2 models of entrepreneurship are distinguished: classical and innovative. The classical model represents traditional, reproductive, and routine entrepreneurship. An entrepreneur in the framework of this model activates the internal reserves of the enterprise to increase profits, increase profitability. The success of entrepreneurship according to this model is often associated with the subsidies, protectionism by the federal government and regional authorities. An innovation model is an innovative and productive entrepreneurship which involves the search for such ways of enterprise development which are based on innovations or innovations brought to the stage of final use. Joseph Schumpeter introduced the distinction between economic growth and economic development into economic science. The difference between those 2 concepts is easier to explain in the words of Schumpeter himself. Put as many post carriages on a row as you like, and you will not be able to get a railroad. So, economic growth is an increase in the production and consumption of the same goods and services, like in particular postage cards or time. Economic development is, first of all, the emergence of something new, previously unknown, for example, railways, or in other words, innovation. This is how Schumpeter himself defined innovation. His innovation concept includes 5 cases. The first case is creation of a new product with which consumers are not yet familiar, or a new quality of the product. The second one, creation of a new method of production not yet tasted in this industry, which is not necessarily based on a new scientific discovery and may consist in a new form of commercial circulation of goods. The third one, this is the opening a new market, a market in which a given industry in a given country hasn't yet traded, regardless of whether or not that market previously existed. The next one, discovery of a new source of factors of production, again, regardless of whether this source existed earlier or had to be created anew. And the last one, the creation of a new organization of the industry, for example, achieving a monopoly or liquidating a monopoly position. In a society experiencing economic growth, goods and money move towards each other along long-established paths. Schumpeter called this movement a circular flow of economic life. Economic development disrupts the circular flow, brings new industries to life and obsolete ones. For example, the innovation of the automobile led not only to the creation of the automobile industry, but also to very significant changes in the production of steel, rubber, and glass. However, economic development cannot occur continuously simply because new ideas don't appear every day. Innovation and with it economic development is intermittent. It was the discontinuous nature of innovation that Schumpeter explained the economic style. According to the degree of novelty, innovations are distinguished as basic, improving, and pseudo-innovations. Basic innovations implement major inventions and are the basis for the formation of new generations and directions for the development of technology. The improving innovations are associated with the introduction of small and medium-sized inventions and prevail at the stages of diffusion and stable development of the scientific and technological cycle. But the pseudo-innovations are aimed at partial improvement of outdated types of equipment and technology. For reasons of origin, innovation is divided into two types: reactive and strategic. Reactive innovation is aimed at the survival of the firm. It emerges as a reaction to radical innovative transformations carried out by competitors. But the strategic innovation, this is proactive and aims to gain significant competitive advantage in the long term. Thus, using innovations, the company reduces costs, increases production volumes, conquers sales markets, increases the mass of profits, contributes to increasing the efficiency of entrepreneurship and the development of the national economy. The development of innovative processes is influenced by various groups of factors such as economic, technological, political, legal, organizational, managerial, social, psychological, and cultural. Some factors promote innovation, others hinder. In the group of economic and technological factors, the presence of the necessary financial resources, material and technical means, progressive technologies, economic and scientific and technical infrastructure has a positive impact on the innovative activity of the enterprise. Hinder innovation activity, lack of funds for investment, weakness of material and scientific and technical base, the predominance of the interests of current production, and etc. The similar examples can be given for other groups of factors. Let's look through main types of investment into innovative business in the video on the next slide.
It's the major hurdle every new entrepreneur faces time and time again: raising money. You've got a great business idea, but how the heck do you get it off the ground? Hi there, I'm David Waring, and I'm the co-founder of FitSmallBusiness.com. In this video, I'm going to show you 9 ways to fund your startup. By the end of the video, you'll know which option suits your needs and how to increase your chances of getting funding. So stick around. Startup financing option number 1. Get an SBA startup. Traditional bank loans and SBA loans are generally the most difficult and slowest way to get money for your business. To get an SBA loan for your startup, you will generally need a high net worth, real estate with equity that can be used as collateral for the loan, an airtight business plan, and a credit score above 700. If you meet all these qualifications, congratulations. That's difficult too. You're likely a good fit for the Small Business Administration, Community Advantage Program, and microloan. The SBA's Community Advantage Program lets your startup borrow up to $250,000, and the microloan program provides smaller loans of up to $50,000. Entrepreneurs who qualify for these programs have invested at least 30% of their own money in the business and have relevant management and industry experience. Startup financing option number 2, ROB. The best kept secret for funding a business is a rollover for business startup, or ROB. ROBs allow you to invest funds from your retirement account into your new business without paying early withdrawal penalties or income tax. Essentially, you are buying stock in your company with funds from your 401k and holding that stock inside your retirement. ROBs are best for people who have at least $50,000 in their retirement. You can find out more about ROBs and how they help entrepreneurs invest over $3 billion into their businesses in our ultimate guide to rollover to business startups. Startup financing option number 3, home equity loans and lines of credit. Did you know home equity loans and lines of credit are used by 25% of U.S. small business owners to fund their business? That's because home equity loans and lines of credit allow you to leverage equity in the home to borrow money for your business. Because the loan is backed by your home, this is generally the lowest interest rate financing option to start. Home equity loans and lines of credit are best for people who have more than 15% equity in their home and a credit score above 600. If you meet these qualifications, I highly suggest reading our article, Should You Use a Home Equity Loan or Line of Credit to Finance Your Business? Startup financing option number 4, credit cards. 37% of small business owners use credit cards to finance their business. Credit cards offer you a lot more flexibility than other forms of finance. Plus, you can earn cash back and rewards when you charge purchases. That's basically free money. Using credit cards to finance your business can be tricky. That's why we created a guide to help you choose the right card along with tips on how to use credit card finance. Give it a read. Startup financing option number 5, microloans from nonprofit lenders. Nonprofit lenders are mission-based organizations that give out loans to people from disadvantaged communities. These are great for startup business owners who don't have great credit or a lot of other options. To get a microloan, you should be prepared to have a co-signer or show a significant source of income independent of your business, like a full-time job or a spousal income. If microloans seem like a viable option for you, read our article, What is a Microloan and How Can Your Small Business Benefit? Startup financing option number 6, loans from a peer-to-peer site. Before Kickstarter and Fundable campaigns invaded your Facebook feed, P2P loans were the way to get financing from strangers. P2P lenders enable borrowers to get a 3 to 5 year loan by filling out a loan application online and finding investors willing to lend them money. If you qualify, you can get up to $50,000 in just 2 weeks. Now, getting a P2P loan depends entirely on the state of your personal finances and credit score. If your credit score is above 700, you should consider a P2P. You can find out more about the pros and cons of P2P loans in our article, Can a Peer-to-Peer Loan Provide Funding for Your Business? Startup financing option number 7, borrow money from friends and family. Family members and friends who like your business idea may be willing to lend you funds. Sure, it may feel awkward, but you can put their doubts at ease with a stellar business plan and a promissory note. The promissory note is a legal document that business owners sign to formalize borrowing money from their friends and family. If you want to know more about how to write a promissory note, read our article, How to Make a Promissory Note to Fund Your Small Business. In addition to showing you how to make a promissory note, we'll talk about the issues you need to understand before borrowing money from friends and family. Startup financing option number 8, crowdfunding. Our second to last fundraising method has become one of the most popular ways to fund a business debt-free. Crowdfunding is when you focus on raising small amounts of money from a large number of people. Platforms like Fundable, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Rocket Hub connect entrepreneurs' products with the world. Crowdfunding works best for startups with visually appealing consumer products. Think tech gadgets, apparel, and food and beverage products. If this sounds like your startup, I highly recommend reading How to Crowdfund Your Business before launching your own crowdfunding. Option number 9, raising money from angel investors and venture capital. Venture capital generally comes from a company or firm, whereas angel investors are usually wealthy individuals acting on their own. With both angel investors and VCs, you can raise money debt-free, but it's important to establish upfront and contractually how much control they will have in your company. If you have a solid business plan with financial projections and you're confident that your business can provide a 10 times return on investment, angel investors or venture capital might be right. If you want to move forward with any of the financing methods we've covered in this video, we've created a startup funding essentials kit with everything you need to know to increase your chances of getting funded.
So, in this video, you have known about the main investors and the main features that may help to invest in your own and natural business. So the second question of our lecture is the types of entrepreneurship. There are 4 types of entrepreneurship. The first one is production, then the second is commercial, financial, and advisory. The first one covers such areas as innovative, scientific and technical, production of goods, provision of services, productive consumption of goods, and informational. The second one consists on trade purchasing, trade and intermediary, trading exchanges. The third consists on banking, insurance, auditing, and stock exchanges. And the last one, this is the general management, administration, financial management, human resources management, marketing, manufacturing, information technology, and specialized services. The forms of entrepreneurial activity, according to the form of activity, has 2 classifications. The first classification is the number of owners, and the second kind of property. Each of those forms has its own subspecies. Their main purpose is to characterize entrepreneurial activity from the relevant side. When analyzing each of the forms, attention is paid to its features. By the number of owners, depending on the number of owners, entrepreneurial activity can be individual, collective, and corporate. As for individual entrepreneurship, this is considered the most common form. In this case, the business owner is one individual who can employ up to 20 workers. The advantages of this form are independence of action, efficiency, freedom in management, flexibility of the organization, low requirements for startup capital, and tax benefits. In collective entrepreneurship, ownership is owned by 2 or more people. In case of fractional ownership, the share of each is determined by the constituent documents and corresponds to his contributions. In the absence of such a definition, the property is considered joint. Among the most common options for collective entrepreneurship are business companies, joint stock companies, and business partnerships. Corporate entrepreneurship is based on partnerships and collaboration of the various structures. Each of them continues to remain independent and retain its legal status. However, they all act within the framework of common goals and interests. The types of corporate entrepreneurship include the first one, concerns interactions is based on the centralization of management, may be diversified or not tied to a specific type of activity. Then the business associations, foundations, unions, the association doesn't have strict restrictions in comparison with the concern it provides for cooperation in certain functions or areas. Then consortia, a temporary association for a specific task. And intersectoral or regional unions, the association of different departments for cooperative activities. Any kind of business faces, of course, with competition. So what does it mean, competition? The competition is the rivalry of economic entities in which the independent actions of each of them exclude or limit the ability of each of them to unilaterally influence the general conditions of circulation of goods in the relevant commodity market. There are sectoral and cross-sectoral competitiveness, which are illustrated in the next slide. Sectoral and cross-sectoral competitiveness, here we can see on the picture that we have, of course, the competition between two companies, and we have a pie inside of the picture, and from these depends, of course, our profit that we will get in the future. So this competition must be on the market because without any competition we can't evaluate and cannot work with our business, and of course the quality and the prices of our goods and services are really depend on the competition. So we see here one of the examples of the competitiveness in this sectoral. This is the picture that describes what is going on in the market, and that the competition should be here. The industry competition, the competition in industry, there are 5 competitive forces according to Michael Porter. One of them, the first one, is threat of new members, of course, then the threat of appearance of substitute goods, threat to the bargaining power of buyers, threat to the bargaining power of suppliers, and the threat of intense rivalry. Competitiveness, the real and potential ability of firms in existing conditions to design, manufacture, and sell goods that in terms of price and non-price characteristics are more attractive to consumers than the goods of their competitors. Competitive advantages, that the factors that determine superiority over competitors, measured by economic indicators, of course. So the formation of the theory of innovation, the Joseph Alois Schumpeter, he was born the 18th February 1883 and died in 1950. So he said that the role of entrepreneurs is to reform or revolutionize production using inventions to release new goods or manufacture old ones in a new way, opening up new sources of raw materials or new markets, reorganizing the industry. What are the innovations? What does it mean? The process of implementing a new idea in any area of human life and activity, contributing to the satisfaction of existing needs in the market and bringing economic, environmental, or social effect. Discovery, invention, and innovation. The difference between innovations is, first, invention and discovery are made as a rule at the fundamental level, and innovation at the level of the applied order. Discovery of inherently a selfless act, and the goal of innovation is to maximize profit. Discovery can happen by accident, and innovation is the result of systematic research. The classification of innovation is unparalleled product, a product fundamentally improved in comparison with those existing on the market, product improved in comparison with other existing ones on the market, product improved without changing properties, modification of an existing one, or continuation of the product line. The product is new only for a specific market, and the last, an old product that has found a new scope. The classification of innovation has 4 types, 4 points. The first, grocery, then the production, marketing, and organizational. The innovation environment consists of 4 types, like producers, innovative infrastructure, investors, research and design organizations. The cycle consists of 3 main subjects: the science, the production, and the consumption, of course. The innovation cycle, the science, has the basic research and applied research. Production, this is design, building, technological preparation of production, mastering the production of new products, and the actual production of new products. And consumption, this is the distribution of a new product, operation of a new product. We have the product life cycle. It consists of some stages, and from the left side we see our volume, and in the X line, Y line, we have the time. So the first point from what everything begins, and when we begin to spread and sell our product or service, this named like sales volume. Then, after our product was appeared on the market, we have the access to the market, because this is a new product, of course. Maybe the price is very suitable for our consumers, and maybe the quality is so good, maybe this quality higher when our competitors have. So the next stage, the third stage after the access to the market, this is the sales growth, because all people are familiar with this product or service, and they like it, and they buy it all of the time. But it cannot be all the time. It cannot be during all cycle of our product. I mean, the stage, the sales growth. Then after this, there happens the maturity. This is the routine for our market, when there is maybe no competitive product, and maybe no something new, but people, they are just habited with this product, and maybe this doesn't new and very interesting for them. And after this stage, we have the final stage, as every product and every service. This is the aging and dying of our good. And of course, this is the normal situation, because when we produce something, we know that it won't exist for during all our life, because we have the nanotechnology, and we have the development in the maybe different technologies, and different consumptions of new goods and new materials, and we can't stay on the same place. This is absolutely normal for the life cycle of the product. Then this was about the 2 basic themes and topics of our lecture. And now I want you to read the control questions, and of course to answer them. The first question is, what are the main types of entrepreneurship and forms of activity, as we mentioned before? The second one is the definition of competitiveness and innovations. And the last one, try to explain the product life cycle and give your own opinion about this cycle. So here you may familiar with the literature. You may watch the edited literature when you have a free time. So for today, this is all. Thank you for being with me, and see you next lecture.